Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What I'm about to tell you could be a game changer for the Commanders, and honestly, it's the kind of move that could reshape the entire NFC East landscape. Rumors are swirling that the Baltimore Ravens are actively exploring a trade involving their star safety, Kyle Hamilton, and the Washington Commanders. This isn't just fan speculation. Sources close to The Athletic are hinting that the Ravens, currently sitting at a 9-5 record, are looking to shake things up in their secondary. With their aging safeties like Marcus Smith, who's already 32, Baltimore is eyeing a younger, more versatile playmaker to bolster their defense. And guess who's at the top of the list? Kyle Hamilton, a 24-year-old safety who's been making waves since he entered the league. This potential trade isn't just about swapping players. It's about a strategic move by the Ravens to free up cap space and improve their future outlook. Reports suggest they might be willing to send Hamilton to Washington in exchange for a third-round pick in the 2026 draft and a conditional fourth-rounder, along with saving around $12 million in cap space. For the Ravens, this makes perfect sense. They're tight against the cap, just about $8 million over in 2026, and need to make room for some younger talent. Plus, with Hamilton, they'd be cutting down on the age of their secondary, which could be a real boost for their overall team performance. Now, let's talk about Hamilton himself. The guy's a playmaker. He's the kind of safety who can change the game in an instant. Last season, he racked up 4 interceptions, which is no joke, along with 10 pass defenses, 7 tackles for loss, and a PFF grade of 97, putting him among the top safeties in the league. His coverage grade is an impressive 88.9, and his EPA per target sits at -0.39, meaning he's extremely effective at limiting big plays. Since 2022, he's amassed 10 interceptions and 35 pass defenses, which shows just how disruptive he can be in the secondary. What makes Hamilton such a valuable asset is his versatility. He's not just a deep safety. He can play in the box, cover tight ends, or even blitz when needed. His career stats include an average of 4.5 tackles per game, and he's allowed only about 4 yards after the catch on average, a key stat for a safety tasked with stopping big plays. Although he missed 2 games in 2025 due to a hamstring injury, his overall impact on the field remains undeniable. He's also contributed with 3 sacks on blitzes, and his run support has helped his team win around 40% of his tackles in run support situations. Think of him as a mix between Minkah Fitzpatrick at his peak and the kind of game-changing safety that can elevate a defense. Now, why would the Ravens be willing to part ways with him? Well, aside from cap issues, they're looking ahead to the 2026 season and trying to set themselves up for sustained success. Moving Hamilton would allow them to reallocate resources and give more opportunities to their young linebacker, Patrick Queen, who's coming into his own. Plus, without Hamilton, their back end might be vulnerable to deep passes, and that's where the Commanders could capitalize. Speaking of Washington, this move could have huge implications for their defense. Adding a talent like Hamilton would instantly upgrade the secondary, especially alongside their current safety, Darren Payne, who's been solid with 3 interceptions in 2025. Hamilton's presence would help contain deep passes, reducing the opponent's passing yards from around 240 yards per game, ranking 26th in the league, down to an estimated 200 yards, boosting their pass defense efficiency significantly. That's a potential 15% improvement in EPA per pass, which is huge when you're trying to turn the tide in a division full of aerial threats like Joe Burrow and the Bengals. The Commanders are already fighting uphill with a 4-10 record, but this kind of defensive upgrade could be just what they need to turn things around. Hamilton's addition would create a hybrid safety unit, similar to what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers assembled back in 2020, when they bolstered their secondary with multiple playmakers. Imagine a secondary with Martin, who's projected to have 3 interceptions in 2025 and has a PFF grade of 82. 3, paired with Hamilton. This duel would not only tighten the coverage, but also make it much harder for opposing quarterbacks to pick them apart deep. Furthermore, the impact on turnovers would be substantial. Expect the Commanders to force around 8 more turnovers over the course of the season, with Hamilton patrolling the backfield. That's in line with what defenders like Andre Diggs or Minkah Fitzpatrick have done in their peak seasons, elevating their team's performance by a significant margin. It's about creating chaos for the opposing offense, and Hamilton's ball-hawking skills would be a perfect fit for that. Another aspect to consider is the playoff potential. In recent years, the Commanders have been on the cusp of the postseason, but critical plays and turnovers have often been the difference. Hamilton's 2 playoff interceptions in his career have shown that he rises to the occasion when it matters most. If Washington manages to acquire him, their odds of making a deep playoff run, perhaps even contending for a Super Bowl, would see a noticeable boost. The betting odds, for instance, have already shifted from +15, 0 to +7, 0 for a Super Bowl appearance in 2025, according to Caesars. That's a huge jump and indicates how much this kind of move could tilt the balance of power. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the risks. Trading away draft capital always comes with some uncertainty, and Hamilton's injury history, like the hamstring issue in 2025, is something to watch. But his overall impact on the field has been game-changing, and his ability to line up in multiple spots makes him one of the most versatile safeties in the league. If Washington can bring him in without giving up too much, it could be the kind of bold move that sets the stage for a new era of success. The NFL is a league of matchups and strategic shifts, and this potential trade is a prime example of how teams are trying to stay ahead of the curve. The Commanders, with their young core and now a chance to add a proven playmaker like Hamilton, could be looking at a future where their defense becomes a fortress. Plus, this move would mirror the Ravens' own safety legacy, a team historically known for its strong, intimidating secondary. Rebuilding that reputation in Washington would not only energize the fan base, but also send a message to the rest of the league that the Commanders are serious about contending again. So, as we await official confirmation, it's clear that this trade has the potential to be a turning point. Whether it materializes or not, it's exciting to see the strategic chess moves happening behind the scenes. For fans of the Commanders, it's a reminder that the team is always looking for ways to improve, to get better, and to finally take that leap back to Super Bowl glory. If this move goes through, it could mark a new chapter in Washington's storied history, one where their secondary is feared across the league, and the defense as a whole becomes a nightmare for any quarterback daring to challenge them. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Hamilton would be the perfect fit? Are you excited about the possibility of upgrading the secondary and boosting the team's chances for a playoff run? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Washington Commanders. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This is the kind of move that could finally push us over the edge and bring that Super Bowl trophy back to DC. So let's keep the conversation going and stay fired up, because the future is looking brighter than ever for the Commanders.